Hello everyone and welcome back to the Ryan Retro channel. It's been less than 2 days since I posted my announcement video about the Retroid Pocket 6, and it could already be completely changing. In my announcement video, I said that I was pretty happy with the Retroid Pocket 6 announcement, but there were a couple of things I wasn't really too sure on. The first one was those buttons under the screen, which honestly I think look a bit ugly, but maybe once I have it in my hands and in practice, maybe it will grow on me. So I don't want to outright say they look terrible, because sometimes in renders things don't look very nice, but once you actually get them and use them, they're fine. But a lot of people seem to share my sentiment that they don't look very good. The other thing I said I didn't really like personally was the D-pad at the top. If you've followed my channel at all over the past year, you'll know that I've been raving about the Retroid Pocket 5, saying how it's basically my perfect handheld, and the only thing I really would like to change about it would be to switch the D-pad and analog stick positions. Because I mostly play analog stick centric games like Switch, PC, even PS2 and GameCube, I always used to use analog stick controllers for those. And as somebody who finds the Xbox layout more comfortable than the PlayStation layout, I just prefer the analog stick to be at the top and the D-pad to be underneath. This is of course completely personal preference. People who love PlayStation controllers might prefer the way it is now with the analog sticks at the bottom of the device. But it seems once again a lot of people shared my sentiment and want the analog stick to be at the top, especially with a more powerful device that can play more powerful systems that usually have the analog stick at the top, with the exception of course being PlayStation devices. Those of us who are used to using Xbox controllers, Nintendo Switch, and most higher end controllers, we're used to having the analog stick up the top, and a lot of people seem to share this same sentiment, so it seems like Retroid have received a lot of backlash over these design choices. So Retroid have taken the Retroid Pocket 6 down from their website. It's not for sale anymore, at least for now, and they've put 2 polls up online. So we, as the consumer, can go and vote for what we want. I think this is a good idea. I have seen a lot of backlash about this as well, from people who had their hearts set on the initial design and now seem to have had it ripped away from them. I do feel sorry for those people, but there is a chance you might still be able to get that. It depends how these polls go. I don't usually put videos out at this time. I literally just got home from work about 10 minutes ago and I'm rushing to put this video out for you guys, so you can get involved with these polls as well if you haven't seen them yet, as there is only around 5 or 6 hours left in the polls. I will link the polls in the description of this video. They are over on Discord or Twitter. And the polls have 2 questions. The first one is, which design do you prefer? Do you prefer the design that was announced a few days ago with those 4 buttons under the screen? Or do you prefer this design, which is more like a Retroid Pocket 5? It does seem to have the new rounded design, and the 2 customizable buttons on the front of the old design will be on the back. The Retroid Pocket 5 doesn't have any buttons on the back, but this new redesigned Retroid Pocket 6 will have 2 buttons on the back, something like this, that can be mapped to anything you want. Personally, I prefer this being on the back than on the front, because I find it easy to use these when I'm playing first-person shooter games without taking my fingers off of the analog sticks. So you can pick which design you prefer here. Now the second question is the one that is the most divisive, and it just completely comes down to personal preference. And that is, where do you want the D-pad and left analog stick to be? Do you want the D-pad to be at the top like the Retroid Pocket 5 with the analog stick underneath? Or do you want them to be reversed with the analog stick up the top and the D-pad down at the bottom? Throughout the whole past year, I've said countless times that if this left analog stick was at the top of the device, this would be my dream handheld. The way that I hold it, I just wish the analog stick was at the top. So I'm going to be voting for the analog stick at the top, but of course, make your own decision based on what you would like to see. I know there's loads of people out there who prefer the D-pad being at the top, and no other company is really still doing this. All of the latest AYN releases have the analog stick at the top, and so do the Aya Neo devices as well. The Aya Neo 3 does have this really cool modular system where you can change around the D-pad and analog stick as you wish, but that device is $1,400. So that's not really part of this conversation. But I do hope that modular switching system trickles down to these cheaper devices in the future. I did also see David from Retroid said that they are trying to make it possible that you can choose whether you want the D-pad or the analog stick at the top. They might have two different variants you can pick from, which I think would be the perfect solution to this. I get the impression that the majority of people would be completely fine removing those buttons under the screen and having less bezel. Some people seem to really like it. It reminds them of the PS Vita with the logo under the screen, but I don't think anyone's going to be too offended if that was removed. But the left analog stick and D-pad position comes down to a personal preference of ergonomics, and it can be a big deal for people. So I think having the option to pick what is comfortable for your hands would be a fantastic move for Retroid if it is financially feasible. Retroid David did say they probably won't make it possible for every single color option, but they will try to at least give a choice for some of the options. We do often see this with base units of devices only being available in certain colors, and the more expensive versions being available in multiple colorways. So I could see this kind of thing happening here. And if Retroid could do this, I think this would be a great move. Retroid taking the device down from the store and giving a poll to consumers has also been facing backlash as well. A lot of people think they should have figured this out before they went live. And I do kind of agree with that, but I do think what Retroid is doing here is a good move. I think it's far better they take it down, give out refunds to people who aren't happy about it, and make sure they're creating the product that the consumer actually wants. We already knew this wasn't shipping until January. It's a good 3 months away, so they do have time to get this right. It would have been far better if they did this a week ago and gave the option before launching, but as long as they give refunds promptly and allow people to pick the actual device they really want, I think this is a good thing. And I'm happy that Retroid are listening to consumers and not just taking an approach of, well, you don't like it? Tough, we'll fix it with the Retroid Pocket 7. So yeah, overall I think this is a good thing that Retroid have done to pull it back and give the consumers what they want, but it really would have been much better if they did it earlier. If you're someone who picked one of the initial devices and was over the moon in love with how it looked and now it seems to have been taken away from you, I also completely understand how you're going to feel quite negative about this. For me personally, I really want the left stick on top and I really want those buttons removed from under the screen if possible. So for me, this is working out pretty well. It's all coming up Milhouse. But I just wanted to put this video out as soon as possible so you can have your casting votes. And if you're curious how the polls are doing so far, just before I reveal it, if you haven't checked the polls yet, think about what you think is winning. The 4-button design or the Retroid Pocket 5 style design, and the D-pad on top or the analog stick on top. I'm going to reveal the results now in 3, 2, 1. And the difference is quite substantial. It seems to be quite obvious what the market wants. And I'm quite happy because it's the same as what I want. But one of the issues here is what the consumer wants seems to be basically the complete opposite of what they showed us 2 days ago. So yeah, this has certainly been a situation. Things are happening in the retro handheld space, and I'm going to wrap this video up quickly now, post it online, so if you didn't know about this, you can get your votes in, and I hope this is helpful to you. And one last thing I'd really like to say is thank you so much to everyone who used my affiliate links to buy one of these devices. There have been quite a few of you using my affiliate links, and if your order gets cancelled and you have to place another one, please consider using my affiliate link again. I'll be very grateful for that. I've also ordered the Retroid Pocket G2 in that beautiful yellow color. I should hopefully get it sometime next week, and I'll be putting out a lot of videos of that one as well. If this video was helpful, please give me a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely day. Bye.